The Lower Mission Creek project area is 1.3 miles of creek between Cabrillo Boulevard and Canon Perdido, impacted by urban development. Most of the year, the Lower Creek trickles runoff from 7,200 acres of watershed above it. But when it rains heavily, that trickle turns to torrent, and historically, that has meant trouble for the surrounding businesses and homes. The area is prone to flooding. In 1995, El Niño storms caused millions in flood damage. Floods also drenched lower parts of the city in 1998 and 2005. To prevent catastrophic damage, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the Santa Barbara County Flood Control District, and the City of Santa Barbara joined forces in the Lower Mission Creek Flood Control Project.
The overall Mission Creek project has a capacity improvement from, I believe, 1,500 cubic feet per second to 3,400 cubic feet per second. The bottleneck in the system is right here on Montecito Street. It's the Montecito Street Bridge. It has a 1,500 cubic feet per second capacity. So what the culvert's going to do is approximately carry the remaining capacity, which is about 1,900 cubic feet per second.
To achieve this, the project will combine a series of bridge replacements and channel improvements.
One other aspect, in addition to the flood control aspect, is that over the years we've tried to incorporate more and more creek restoration and water quality improvement aspects. And so as part of the project design, we have incorporated habitat improvements for wildlife, including some endangered species like the Southern California steelhead. We've also added elements of landscaping with native trees to provide shade and cooling, and other native plants.
Due to the time, cost, and complexity of the project, a multi-phase approach was implemented. The project broke ground with the installation of these culverts under the Union Pacific Railroad, a critical first step that involved closing the tracks.
And the railroad is a very technical operation. They don't like to shut their rails down for long periods of time. It costs a lot of money when the rail service is out. It has to involve coordination with Amtrak because we got an extensive passenger train service that goes through Santa Barbara. So all of this has to be done, and there are only certain windows that happen. So in this particular case, the UP Railroad, who was really a tremendous partner with us, identified a window that they could close the rails down.
And we were allowed a 60-hour window where they would actually do the work continuously nonstop.
After the last train rolled through, the clock started ticking. In 60 hours, crews had to first physically cut 200 feet of the tracks and move them out of the way, then excavate 13 feet below grade before they could install 30 massive 47-ton concrete box culverts underground, totaling over 1,200 tons and measuring about 85 feet long.
Well, the funding for the culvert project is from local fundings, the flood control, local revenues, taxes, and benefit assessments. And that is money that's collected locally and funded 100% of this project. The balance of the project is expected to be funded with a combination of city, federal, and maybe even state fundings along with local money. But this particular was 100% county flood control funded. Net result is the Mission Creek project's now under construction. Perhaps the most critical element of the whole project is now built, and so now that will help us petition the federal government for additional money to continue the construction.
You know, in the grand perspective of things, the amount of flood protection that this will give the city is a cost savings to the citizens of the city. If a flood happens, the amount of damage that can occur can be tens of millions of dollars. And when you look at the project's cost overall, from Canon Perdido all the way down to the beach, is somewhere in the range of $50 to $60 million, and over time it will pay for itself.
For more information and updates on this project, visit www.lowermissioncreek.org.